Welcome to DFS Insights, where the game behind the game comes to life. I am David Geislinger, and alongside me is David Grant Jr., my cousin and co-strategist. The teams up on the block are the Golden State Warriors at the Los Angeles Lakers.
With your lineup success as our top priority, this is where David and I will deep dive into our three top players we like for this matchup. We'll break down strategy behind our picks and share insights to enhance your lineups. Don't miss out on the finale where we reveal two fully procured lineups absolutely free. Here we are again with another Laker matchup. We've covered them 900 times this season.
Yeah, about that, and then for those that have tuned in, we did win actually a couple of those matchups. So before we get into it, I'd like to get you guys watching this to go ahead and just take a quick minute and drop down a few key players that you think are in that you want to see in tonight's matchup, that you think are going to be the focal points. Kind of want to get your guys' input and hear you guys' idea before listening to our key players and see if we can't change your mind that way. But yeah, here it is, Lakers again. Fortunate enough, but seem to do fairly decent when covering the Lakers. So I'm as a Kings fan, I don't mind the Lakers too much anymore as long as they're winning me money. But they need to stay down there in 9th, 10th place for sure. With that, got the Golden State Warriors who are in 10th. Lakers are currently in 9th, so basically fighting over that bottom play-in position. I think the Warriors are basically going to be the 10th seed, just kind of looking at their record. Look, the odds of what needs to happen for them to even move up to 9th. It's still the same thing, the 9th and 10th play. Lakers do have the possibility, as they're actually tied with the Kings now, but Kings have the wins over them. But they could, if everything goes smooth for them, just like the Kings, that 6th position is still viable. So this is basically a must-win for the Lakers. So looking back at, the previous game here, it was on March 16th, so it was actually fairly recent. Golden State actually won that game 128 to 121. I got the top three players from Golden State fantasy point wise: Curry at 50.7, Draymond 40.9, and Clay at 35.3. While as the Lakers, you have LeBron 65.1. He had a game there. D'Angelo Russell 49.1 and Hashimura at 24.8. So it looks to be another competitive matchup. Hopefully, it is a Lakers game, so we'll get to the injuries as usual, as per their MO. Other than that, going over here to the main stats of tonight's matchup, looking like the Lakers, as usual, are favored. So weird. They're favored by 2 points. Over/under sitting at 232.5. Lakers have a slightly below average at 115.2 offensive rating, 114.7 defensive rating. They actually have quite a decent pace, though. They're at a 101.37. Compare that over to Golden State, who's slightly better offensive rating at 116.8. Defensive rating similar to the Lakers at 114.6, and their pace it's close, 99.98. So they're going to get the benefit, basically, the positive pace differential there. So they might see a little bit more injuries. Key injuries to look out for: Wiggins, game time decision probable. Peyton 2. Game time decision probable. Sario, he's been out for a while. And then we have the famous Laker injury list. I almost needed to make a larger box to fit all these names in. I almost had to mess up my graphic to accommodate the Lakers, but You got Davis. He got poked in the eye last game, so he's questionable. I have a feeling, I mean, he should play. I don't know how bad the poke in the eye could be, but it is Davis, and if he steps wrong, he could be out for weeks. So um, questionable there. LeBron James is sick. Apparently, he's too sick to play basketball, making millions of dollars. So he's questionable. I think in all reality, they both need to play. These are both must-win game. These are a must-win game, so they need to play. I'm going under the impression that Davis is playing, and then LeBron is more the 50-50. Hood-Schifino out, Wood out, Vanderbilt out, but they've been out for ever now. But yeah, so with that, it's here we go, deciphering who's playing for the Lakers. And so, as we always say, pay attention to the news, or make sure you hit that like, subscribe button, notification bell, because I do post those breaking news as soon as I hear them into the comments section below. So as soon as I know or we know, you guys will know if you're subscribed and notification bells on. So with that, David, you have enough of me yapping about this main stats here. If you have anything to add before we get to your key players.
Just that I think LeBron plays because there's 4 games left in the season. There's 4 games left for every single team, and like you mentioned, they still have a chance to move up. In the play-in tournament, possibly move into that 7-8 spot instead of the 9-10 spot, which is a big deal. So, even though it says he's sick, and like you mentioned, how you think AD playing, I think even with one eye, I think he might go out there and try to play because that's how important the game's more important for them than it is for the Warriors. So it'd be interesting to see these updates tomorrow if some Warriors end up resting or getting sick or something like that, because it doesn't make a big difference for them as much as it does for the Lakers. So yeah. My 2 cents before we hop into it.
Yeah, no, I agree for sure. Definitely a must-win for Lakers. I think win, lose, draw. I mean, can't really draw here in NBA, but I think the Warriors are basically locked in at 10. That's why I don't think they didn't have an issue resting Curry the other night and everything. So I think they'll still go out and play. When I first looked at it, it had game time decision for Curry, Green. Wiggins was questionable. There was a lot more game time decisions, but it looked like those injuries cleared up. So the potential for them playing is more likely now than it was earlier. So we'll see. Obviously, things change. But yeah. All right. Enough of that. Let's go ahead and get over here to our key players. We'll go ahead and let you start it off.
Yeah, I'm gonna start mine off with Mr. LeBron James. Here we are with the slate where Anthony Davis is 17-5. He really has to hit a high number for that to be optimal. And when you're using a player that's 17-5, it makes it extremely difficult to roster, the rest of the players. So obviously you want to go with one of the superstars, either AD or LeBron, because going both is extremely hard, as LeBron's at 16,000. But as far as LeBron goes, the last 3 times he played them, when he played them on March 16th, he had 65 fantasy points. When he played them on January 27th of this year, he had 75 fantasy points. He did not play the game when they played in February, but the final game of last year, even going into last year, he had 61 fantasy points against them. So for me, LeBron's the guy to put the team on his back. He's still the leader. The torch has not been passed to AD yet, as long as LeBron James is wearing a jersey. So seeing that they can still move up in position, with it saying that he is sick and not saying due to any other type of injury that like he's had, the lingering stuff. I see him playing, and he'll stay in the game as long as it's competitive. If the Warriors start to get things out of control for any reason, even though I think the Warriors might play their guys limited minutes, um, LeBron would just walk off into the locker room like he did, I think, when he played the Kings. He was like in, and then all of a sudden, once we were up like 15 points in the fourth quarter, he got like steamed off into the locker room, acting like he was hurt, but really, we all know it's more his ego that was hurt than his foot. So, uh, either way, though, LeBron is going to play, and if the game does stay close, he's going to get his. And yeah, he's got a favorable matchup on top of that, and it just if he plays, he to me he has the highest ceiling out of anybody, and it makes things easier to roster at 16,000 than starting my roster off at 17.5 with Anthony Davis. So that's my first play. What are your thoughts before we get over to play?
Yeah, no. If James plays, yeah, I think he's good too. I don't know what's going on. 17.5. It seems like we've just covered a few Dallas games, Suns games, things like that, and Luka wasn't even 17.5 on that matchup. So I'm kind of curious what they feel deems as 17.5, because I don't even think AD was 17.5 yesterday when they played the Timberwolves. I think he was 16.5 if I'm not mistaken. I'll look later at my lineup, but yeah, I don't even think he was there. So hey, yeah, but like you said, 17.5 makes the lineup construction pretty difficult, and at 16K it'd be pretty difficult to get both of them and not play the lower salary players quite a bit more. But yeah, LeBron in the 4 games that he just played, obviously minus the Minnesota, the last 5, 34 and a half minutes. His usage is about 27. So he is still in control of what happens when he's on the court. So if he does play, I see him having another potential breakout game. Like you said, I think the last 3 times he's averaging, I think, above 60 fantasy points for playing the Golden State Warriors. I don't see this being different, especially when the game doesn't matter as much to Golden State as it does the Lakers. It's still a professional basketball game. I understand that. They're still athletes. They're still going to go out and compete. But at the same time, they're going to rest their guys for when it really matters, when they play the Lakers in the play-ins.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I like LeBron. Barring any news, I mean, in all reality, based on what my pick I'm about to say now, I kind of hope he doesn't play, because it benefits my guy a lot, and that's Mr. D'Angelo Russell here. It just seems like he and now actually Spencer Dinwiddie benefit quite a bit with LeBron out, but Mr. D'Angelo Russell, I like him in the multiplier star and pro with the AD, potentially LeBron and Steph Curry, on the slate. MVP will be not as, it'll be more the ownership play for me there, but his minutes have been looking nice since the last time I covered him. His minutes have gone up 34.4 now, his usage 24.5. He's averaging 36.7, and he's roughly projected 38.3 points, which is actually above his average. So it kind of gives me a little hope that LeBron might sit this one out as well. And I think a lot of people still sleep on him with a 12.5 salary. If he can get me those 38 fantasy points, I'd be extremely happy. And I think he will be probably one of the more lower-owned star position players. If LeBron is out, he'll actually be probably pretty chalky in the star. Everybody should catch the trend that he does amazing when LeBron is out. He does really well when LeBron, plays. He does well, but he does really well when LeBron's out. So, yeah, that's my first one. What do you think about Mr. Russell here?
Nice, awesome. Yeah, that's also one of my picks as well. So that definitely I'm 100% with you on that
Nice.
at 12-5. As you mentioned, whether LeBron plays or not, I feel like he's he's just he's been on a tear, and especially against Golden State. I mean, in their three matchups, 49 fantasy points, 41, and then 44. Um, he's he's just it's important that going into the playoffs, and especially for them to play in, if they end up playing the Warriors, that they have the confidence and the cohesion going in. And so that's another reason I see, uh, the Lakers also playing all their people. They want momentum going into the playoffs, kind of like football, basically. I know football is one and done. Well, so is the play-in. Play-in's one and done, and you want momentum going in. So I see D'Lo getting his minutes, and he's been a. It's just happened. It's been a great matchup for him with the pace, just everything. So yeah, he's one of my top plays as well. So I'm with you on that. Who do you got here for your second play?
Second pick, I'll go ahead and keep it here with the Lakers, and I'm going to go Mr. Rui Hashimura, at a salary of 8K. I don't know what he needs to do to get up into that 10K range, but I'm happy if they keep him there. So in the multiplier spot, pro for sure, flex definitely. He's averaging 30.8 minutes, his usage 18.7, averaging 30.5 in the last 5 games, and he's projected about 29, about his average. So, he's been averaging 30 points a game, fantasy points the last 5 games, and he's still only 8K. Yes, I'll go ahead and take him all day. He's even, now, especially if LeBron's out, he does get a little bit more usage. He does see he is kind of, I think, one of those rhythm shooter too. He needs to make those first few shots. I mean, I'm assuming most people get more confidence once they see the ball go in a few times. But he's had games in the 50s, but he's also had games in the mid-teens. So. He needs to get going. But yeah, at 8K, averaging 30 and a half point fantasy points. I mean, he's a must for me. I think he'll be highly chalky in the flex position. I think you're going to get the best bang for your buck if you slide him in the pro, and I will be, and that's going to be based on my lineup construction. There and how that all pans out. So, what do you think about that before we get over to your third?
Yeah. Well, I guess we got a 2-for-1 here again.
Oh,
Shocking. This is shocking. Yeah. I feel the same way. I mean, Hashimura at 8K. How is he not 10K? I mean, I don't know what a guy's got to do to become 10K around here, but I mean, yeah, this is. I think either way with LeBron in. LeBron could see limited minutes, which would benefit Hashimura. But even if either way, there's multiple ways for Hashimura to have a great game. And at 8K, the risk to reward ratio of him being able to beat his salary or exceed his salary with fantasy points is extremely high. So, yeah, for me, it's a must play. Eat the chalk. He should be super chalk. I mean, he should be 50% owned in the utility. If he isn't, then people haven't been paying attention enough. Maybe it's because you and I cover the Lakers a lot.
yeah.
But at 8K, I can't pass up on that. I won't be doing a whole lot of lineups, but the ones I will be doing will be having Hashimura in them. So
Yeah, I'm
I'm
kind of
100%
a little disappointed
on
that
that.
they started making these tournaments 5K to first now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but at least hopefully, come playoff time, they end up bumping it up. Is what I'm
Oh no,
hoping.
I'm for sure they're going to. They better, but it's
Well,
just 5K obviously is great and everything, and then obviously they take away, half the field, which is also, nice, but, hitting that 10K isn't, if I was to hit the 5K knowing that it should have been 10K, I think I would have been upset, but, whatever, a win's a win, yeah, no, that's good too. I'm glad you agree with that. So sweet. I guess I'll go ahead and just move on over here to my third pick, which is Mr. Tracy Jackson Davis. Yeah, I like him, and actually, we always say here at DFS Insights, bigs versus the Lakers. And he's been doing great work in his limited minutes. I wish he had a little bit, more of a like 30-minute kind of role, but for what the minutes he's doing great. Averaging 23.9 minutes, usage 16.7, averaging 27.6 fantasy points, and he's projected roughly 28.1. Yes, I do like him in the star and pro utility. I think he should surpass that. Also with Anthony Davis, I still think Anthony Davis playing, but I'll definitely be have him more in the star as well if Anthony Davis is out, because I think Anthony Davis, being pretty good rim protector. I think he's better than Jackson Hayes. So yeah, I like him more, but he's over one fantasy point a minute kind of guy, and the salary at 8.5K. It's just another situation like Hashimura, where the risk to reward is great. I mean, he's had games over mid 40s. You just had one here against Charlotte, 44, coming off the Utah game, 34 in 22 minutes. Excuse me. Dallas 19 minutes, he had 24. Houston 27 minutes, 37 fantasy points. So yeah, he's a point per minute fantasy point per minute monster here. So I like him, and you'll see in my lineup too. How much I like him. So
Nice. Yeah. I definitely like that play a lot too. In my first lineup build, I had him in it. It's interesting that he's the expected starter. I see Kuminga came off the bench the last game against Utah. It'll be interesting to see how things go. I know that Tracy Jackson's kind of started and come off the bench, if I'm not mistaken. So I could see him getting more minutes because the game isn't as big of a deal to the Warriors, which to me would lead to him getting more minutes if he isn't a starter. Usually, the reserves get more minutes when it comes to that. So
well, and Draymond left last game too with the back injury. He was game time decision this morning, but they cleared his tag, so I'm sure he's good to go. But if for whatever reason he takes a step back, the potential for him to slide into, or if Wiggins decides to take an extra day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it'll be definitely big to just keep our eye on the Warriors' injury situation and who's starting and who isn't. I really 8-5. You really can't go wrong with Tracy Jackson Davis because his upside is definitely there, and his floor is also nice as well at the 8-5. So I'll be having a lot of exposure to him as well, primarily in the utility spot. I know he'll be pretty chalky there. I'll be looking to make a move somewhere else to fade that type of chalk. And again, I'll be interested to see who the Warriors put out there as their starting five, and kind of what happens tomorrow. We know how it is. News drops all the time. That's crazy, random, and that type of stuff. So it's just really important that everyone out there listening, be following the news throughout the day, because that's going to be your golden ticket to taking down this tournament. So.
Yeah.
Yep, great.
All right, and yeah, I guess now with that, so as we wrap it up here, so for all you guys that I guess jumped ahead to look at just to look at the lineup, so you might want to go ahead and go to the timestamp before this one and to our key players to find out why we created these lineups instead of just entering them in. It could help you generate a few extra lineups instead of just the one. I think put out some viable information that covers quite a bit, quite a broad spectrum. So yeah, with that, make sure you please before you take off, before we get over to here, I'm kind of stalling because I want you guys to go ahead and hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe, notification bells on. It does help us out quite a bit. We're trying to build up this community here. Yeah, and so with that, I won't keep you guys waiting too much longer, but here's those lineups, and yeah, looking pretty good. Yeah, well, two pretty different lineups. So feel free, to enter those in. We will be entering those in this tournament. And with that, just giving you guys a heads up. Stay tuned for the next podcast. I believe we'll be covering that, covering the Clippers versus the Suns game, and then also we have another podcast or another vid coming out here for the UFC 300 for the DraftKings event. So make sure again you're subscribed so you don't miss any of that content. David, with that, go ahead and lead us out.
Yes, sir. Good luck to everybody out there. Super excited for these NBA playoffs to be coming up. We got 4 games max left for the NBA till we got the playoffs going. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be having all sorts of videos dropping for the playoffs, and then also transitioning, as David mentioned, into MMA. UFC 300, that card is stacked. It's going to be an awesome event. Can't wait for this upcoming Saturday for that. So we'll be dropping that video this week as well. Besides NBA, MMA is what is a moneymaker for me. So yeah, can't wait to be doing that podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and again, hit the notification bell to be updated on all these, these crazy game time decision stuff here towards the end, because it's all about following the news and adjusting your lineups accordingly if you want to make that big money. So good luck to everyone out there, and look forward to seeing you at the top.